right, are you ready to see it? Well, here it is. One of my unbuilds that I think I was building it back in '09, and it got put away into the box and forgotten for a while. And this is actually the first time I've seen it in a long time, and I'm sitting back going, wow, I think I need to build this. Because I've got to admit something, I have a really bad problem. I get all excited and inspired, and an idea pops in my head for a model car, and I start it, and then all of a sudden I start to get bored with it, and other ideas pop in my head, and I start fiddling with another model, and I can't stay focused. It's been probably the worst thing about this hobby for me, is it's really hard to stay on, because I keep getting all these ideas, or new kits come out, or I get a hold of a kit, and I want to build that one. And that's probably what happened with this. Also, at that time, I just kind of started to lose interest in doing drag cars. I had done a bunch, and I kind of wanted to work on something else. But I'm starting to get the drag car itch again, and this car has constantly been on the back of my mind. How I was inspired to build it might not be what you think. That is, if you are astute on stock and super stock eliminator racing back in the 90s, Edmunds Motorsports out of Texas, they were sponsored by Pyroil, and they had a couple of 69 Camaros and a 68, I think it was, Chevelle, and there was a whole Pyroil team with other racers also. They had these Camaros. It's been their Camaros, and they still are racing them today, although they're painted in a different livery. They were the ones who ran this Pyroil paint scheme and everything. But this is not a replica of the Edmunds cars. And they were also both stock eliminator cars. I think they had a super stock. I don't remember that one. But I knew the two stock eliminator cars, and I loved what they looked like. But this is totally made up. It's not even supposed to be an NHRA super stock car. I was doing something more of either a bracket car. I think it was what I was going for, because it has the higher cowl hood. That wouldn't be allowed in super stock. But what really inspired me to build this is, at the time I was working at a paint shop, and we were redoing a car that was a 68 Camaro. It was black, and it was an old drag car that the owner had converted to drive on the street, and we were putting a new black paint job on the car, and I just loved it. I thought it was neat. I've always liked the idea of taking an old retired race car and you making it into a street car. So I loved this car. I took all kinds of pictures of it, and it inspired me to build this. I wanted to do a black first gen Camaro, so I went with this. I used a bunch of slick decals, the BRE sticker you see on the front fenders. I think those look great on black, and BRE is a local company here in Phoenix. And that BRE decal came off of the decal sheet from the Revell 55 Chevy Pro mod. I just always thought that was cool that it was a local company here, a local engine builder. And if you notice with the car spinning around, you see how the grill there is kind of see-through. I went ahead and ground that, and we'll show you that in a little bit. I have some resin pieces on there, and we'll show it all to you. I can take this thing apart because, again, it's not a completed model. But that was my whole inspiration to build this, a little background on it. But it is a fictitious model. I'm not replicating anything. And if you're curious about the paint, it was shot with PPG Global Toner Black base coat with a polyurethane PPG clear. And I did a little bit of buffing on it, but that's pretty much right out of my gun. Yeah, I actually used a automotive touch-up gun to paint this car. That's the story on that. So here we're going to take a closer look at the car, and we're going to bust it all apart because it's really not put together. It's kind of just all mocked up. But you can see in here, I wanted a different color instead of painting black or white or something, but I wanted it to show the interior really well. And I thought, heck, you know what? I'm going to make it a gold, because who knows what the factory color might have been of this car. You know, they would have painted it for the sponsor. So I went ahead and shot gold just to kind of show it off to be different. And I don't have the dashboard in, but I'll show you the dashboard. And I don't know what gold I used, probably just a simple gold, but I was kind of modifying the dashboard a bit. I hadn't done any of the detail for the gauge back there, but I just was kind of going for that race car piece of plate metal right there, and I think this box right here is going to be some sort of electronic box. I'm probably going to put switches in there or something. I don't know if you can see it, but I have got the Camaro script painted in a chrome, and same with the button there for the glove box. But pretty basic. Didn't go too nuts. So let's go ahead and lift this hood off. I'll show you the hood. It is a resin piece. Just put whatever decals I found on that slick sheet. You can see the underside. Just kind of left it all rough, looking like what fiberglass would look like, and just kept it. I'm going to keep it like that. I'm just going to leave it like I might clean up around the edges, but I'm just going to leave it look like primer under there. It's just a race car. It's just a tool. But again, I'm doing a class, probably like a bracket racing class or something was my plan. I wasn't going for the super stock thing, so they could run a fiberglass hood if they choose. And you can see the engine in here. The kit engine, and again, I'm going from flat out memory here from 11 years ago. Look at that wheel. Holy cow. See, it's not quite together. And we'll pull this engine out and show you, but I know that's a whole lot of resin there. Resin carburetor, resin intake, resin valve covers. We'll get a good little bit different look at the engine here. And basic painting. It's not all finished yet, but just have that race car look. Let's go ahead and just take this all apart. It wants to fall apart because it's not a finished model. We'll look at the underside here real quick. So the drag slicks here are basically old Revell two-piece plastic drag slicks. I love those. I think they look great, for perfect size for this kind of race car. I just kind of fabricated up a drive shaft loop and ran these ladder bars, which were resin pieces, and this is a resin rear end of a Dana 60 with a girdle on there. That's all resin. These were taken out of a Pro Stock kit, I believe, and I cut the wheel wells out. I really didn't tub it, because it tubs, what's the point? No need for tubs because you don't see them. I just cut the chassis out just so there was clearance. I wasn't too worried about it. And there's your look of those tires. And you'll see when I get this all apart. Let's hope we don't have a disaster. I could have an absolute disaster. No, no disaster. Good thing. Look at that. I haven't seen this in a while. Yeah, I just used some tin tape there just to cover it up. I wasn't concerned about it being, you're not going to see it from that side, and I just didn't want it to be a complete hole, but you can't really see anything from underneath. And there's a nice look at the whole underside and the rear end. I scratch built the roll cage. I'll do a video on how to make roll cages. It's just a evergreen plastic tube, and I heat it up and bend it and got it into shape. Everything else is pretty much out of the box, you know, out of the old Revell 69 Camaro. Not much. Now here's something pretty cool. If you're familiar with this kit, can you see that? Look at that. You can see right through the grill. Just something I like to do for a little added realism. I wanted to put in a really cool looking radiator and whatnot. And it just looks better, I think. I don't know if I'm going to keep this black or go with the argent color. I might do that. I think that was the plan. The argent silver. What I did, and you can see it from this side, is I just took my Dremel tool. I just went ahead and just slowly sand at a low speed. Just kept sanding and sanding and sanding until it got really thin and you could kind of see through the grills. And then when they were really thin, I was able to just poke them out with the X-Acto knife. I even did it here on the sides too. So that just gives for a little better look. When you get it really dressed up, it'll look nice. That's really about it. That's about all we got with this car. Nothing real exciting, but... And I just used these drag stars out of the Bob Glidden Pro Stock kit. You see them right there. There it is. That's the deal. So that's just another one of my kits that never got to see the light of day. You know, it's been in the box for years, and now seeing it, I might have to leave it out and finish it. What do you guys say? Oh, you're all gonna say, finish that. I know how you guys are. And I agree with you, I should. Don't get mean about it though. That's one of Luka's unbuilds. Let me know if you like this whole idea. I'll do more of these because I've got a ton of these unfinished models. And I'd love to show them to you, show you some of my work that never got to be seen because, you know, I don't finish them. So just put down in the comments and let me know what you think. You know, what you think about this, or if you have a question about what I did here, put it down there. I read all the comments, you know that, and I'd like to see if this is something interesting. If you'd like to see a bunch of my models that are shoved back into the boxes and up on the wall, let me know if you want me to keep on making episodes like this of this new wonderful show we got going. So be sure to check out our Teespring store. That's where you can get your shirts and your mugs and your things and whatever else we have on there. Every time you get a shirt and a mug, that helps support this channel, keeps us bringing more content to you. And I want to thank my Patreons. I've got some new ones. Here's the list. Thank you, people. You guys are the producers of the show. So this is really helping out a lot. So this is me, Luka C. Go get back into your model room and build models. Why? Because they're fun. We'll see you later.